They didn't even bother to learn his name. In a sea of confident voices and loud opinions during their final year group project, Armin was the one quietly sitting at the back of the classroom. Clutching his laptop like a shield, the others looked past him like he was furniture, present but not important when tasks were divided. He got the scraps, just handle the slides, someone said, while another joked. Maybe he can fix the fonts. No one took him seriously, and honestly, Armin didn't fight it. He just nodded, offered a faint smile, and kept to himself. But what they didn't know was that while they were arguing over whose name should appear first on the cover page, Armin was staying up at night building something of his own, something far bigger than their project. Behind that quiet gaze was a mind that never stopped thinking, a heart that had been bruised by being underestimated again and again, and a passion for solving problems with code. While the team laughed, partied, and ignored his inputs, Armin was mapping out a solution to a problem millions faced, and he was doing it with no funding, no team, and definitely no cheerleaders. It hadn't always been this way. In high school, he was the kid who sat alone during lunch breaks, scribbling in a tattered notebook full of app ideas no one ever saw. His teacher said he had potential, but he lacked focus. His peers said he was too slow to keep up, even his own family quietly worried he'd never fit in with the fast-paced, competitive world of tech. But inside, Armin knew he just needed time and one shot to prove them wrong. So when the group project deadline passed and his team barely scraped a C, everyone moved on and forgot about him, everyone but Armin, because just weeks later, while scrolling through his old code one sleepless night, he stumbled on a breakthrough. A feature he'd written as a side note for their group assignment now had the bones of something powerful. And that tiny spark turned into the early prototype of an app that would shake the tech world. But at that moment, no one knew, to them, he was still just the guy who made their PowerPoint slides. Until one phone call changed everything, and suddenly, the same people who once ignored him were scrambling to claim they had always believed. And this is where everything started to shift. The phone call came late at night. Just as Armin was about to shut his laptop, it wasn't from a big investor or a famous tech founder. It was from a junior product manager at a mid-sized startup he'd cold emailed weeks ago, attaching his demo and expecting nothing in return. "Hey," the voice said, "did you really build this alone?" Armin, half asleep, replied with a quiet yes. There was a pause. Then came the words that would replay in his mind for weeks. "We need to talk." But before that moment, Armin had spent months in the shadows. After graduating, he didn't land a fancy job like the rest of his group members, who posted polished LinkedIn updates and startup launch photos. He worked shifts at a phone repair shop during the day and coded at night, using second-hand equipment and pirated design software. He couldn't afford Silicon Valley dreams, but he had something most of them didn't: patience, grit, and a deep understanding of user frustration. He wasn't building an app to impress anyone. He was building it because he knew what it felt like to be overlooked. The app itself was deceptively simple. It helped freelancers track payments, manage small contracts, and flag clients who ghosted after getting the work. Armin had faced all of those issues himself while trying to earn from freelance gigs. The existing apps were clunky or expensive. His idea wasn't flashy, but it was clean, fast, and solved real problems. He called it Trust Ledger. No flashy logo, just lines of code that worked. What he didn't know was that at that very moment, across tech circles and social forums, people were starting to whisper about a new tool, something anonymous, lightweight, and oddly effective. Freelancers were sharing screenshots, praising it for how simple and honest it felt. No one knew who made it. Armin hadn't even linked his name to the project yet. He was waiting, maybe for confidence, maybe for validation, maybe because deep down he still didn't believe he belonged in that world. Meanwhile, his former group members were busy celebrating their corporate jobs, still unaware of the quiet storm that was brewing behind the scenes. They hadn't noticed the subtle traction his app was getting or the buzz it was starting to build. Someone else did. Venture scout from Tech Accelerator seen the numbers. He had one question before he made the call. After the guy behind us? That question just was a off a chain of one could have predicted. The scouts met short and direct. Talk ASAP. It over and over. Unsure whether terrified. This kind of match people in the world dreamed about. But in his tiny room, paint falling off the walls, car horns out. It didn't feel. It felt